This library for me is in the twilight zone between music and sound design and a happy marriage of musical sound design. Use it freely. Don't think of it as a trailer library, but think more of it as an instrument, a hybrid instrument, venturing into new styles of music, perhaps places we've never been to before. And this library is designed for big music. It's designed for big thinking, perhaps as well. It's not polite and by no means an understatement of itself. It's so easy. I'm barely doing anything, just clicking random keys here. It is so easy to use. If you notice the library here in its totality, these are just the parts. You'll see that there are many dozens of different parts here. We got 3 banks of clean boomers, 2 banks of gritty boomers. Then we have distorted sounds that are based on the length of the distortion from long to medium to short. We have downers in 2 categories. This is one of the categories I invented. These are sort of sounds that go like... In the very early days of trailers, people used to make this sound with a lion roar. I knew an editor and he always used the same lion roar to create the downers. That was really what gave me the inspiration to take this category and sort of mass produce it, but both in clean and gritty versions. And then we have mega horns, which is one of the most defining categories of sounds in this library. It was really when the whole Brahms thing was happening. I created a whole suite here of mega horns that still to this day are like de facto standards. Then we have all the different banks of rhythms here. We have risers, also in different lengths and gritty and non-gritty. Then we have 4 banks of transformer kits. They're very spectral kind of sounding metallic kind of kits. And then 3 banks of whooshes. And that is the Swiss Army knife of epic composition. But let's get back to the programs here. Let's just begin here by playing with some boomers. These deep, beautiful subwoof sounds. When they stopped doing like Inner World in trailers, that was pretty much just when the booms took over. It tells that whole story, but we don't have to use words. When you notice up here, you'll see that we have bass sounds. And there's a unique one in every single key. That's so you can go like badass boom, badass bass together. The stage is set. And here's another bank of cleaners as well. Unique samples per key within the map range here. Do you notice how there's like unique little like flickers at the end of the tails here? Like sweet little light flickers at the tail of the sound. So even a boomer is telling a little bit of a story. Again, basses in the top region here, and then beautiful boomers from bank 3 clean. So sweet. You know, we just talked about the storytelling in the sound. This one for me, some kind of like alien critter in the sound. It's beautiful. We also have 2 banks of gritty boomers. These are specifically designed to be gritty. They have nothing to do with the clean ones here. Unique samples for every single key, and there's a massive map range here. So cool. All the bass sounds are up here. If you like any of them here, like this sound for example here, go into sound mode, go to 1-note stretch here and click this key. It's now playable across the entire keyboard. Now, This next category here for me is one of the granddaddy sort of sounds of the library that have sent for over a decade just a massive message that I guess is still in music. It's the infamous Brahms, and even to this day here, they still stand the test of time. They're still used every day in different productions here. In this case here, I used one note stretch just on a single megahorn running through our gate effect. Let me play the whole megahorn patch here. You'll notice we have the map range here, unique megahorns or Brahms on every single key. I love this one here. More of a crescendo kind of megahorn. This one here. I actually used both of these sounds here on the Transformers main theme. It just tells a story, you know, we've landed. This one, very used. Now, we have 7 different banks of impacts. We have 3 that are clean, 2 that are dirty, and then we have these sort of crescendo impacts as well. Bank 2. Oh, this one is so nice. The mod wheel will do wonders to the sound. Down here, kind of sweet. We start moving it up here. And I love this one. It's like smack, but you hear this little like woo, like on the end of it. It almost sounds like an object that's just hitting something super solid and it just stands still like a steel beam, like ding. It's not moving at all. The third clean bank of impacts. I mean, how many times do we want it? So nice. We also have 2 additional banks of grid impacts, all custom made from the ground up. I mean, it's amazing we can sometimes even make music with these kind of noises underneath. So big. We have 5 different banks of risers. Let me just give you the gist of it here, beginning with our long, gritty risers. So nasty. Right? Nasty. I love this one here. Here are risers, gritty but very short. I love the sound here. Long risers here as well. Now, let's say that you want to modify these. Go over here to the offset button. And just adjust the offset to your music. And if the attack is a little too pointy, just go over here to attack. And we've now shortened the long risers. And then we got a little over 2 octaves of short risers. Great for little sort of transitional moments. These are a little more airy, not as bassy and deep. Now, you'll have noticed that I haven't talked about trailers once. These sounds are commonly used in trailers, so you can use them that way as well. But I actually designed them more with music in mind. These are musical sound designs at their finest. One of my favorite categories, if you ever listen to any of my demos, you'll hear these all the time. They're often used in epic music for transitional effects, like almost like if you think about EDM when you're building up to the drop, this is sort of the reverse motion, but building it into an explosion. Downers. Gritty downers. I love this one here. The synthesizer in it is speaking to me. Most of the time, sampling is about telling stories, just like we do with music. The instruments need to tell stories as well. Like that one. Yeah. Then nice. We also have 3 additional bangs of whooshes. These are sort of the whoo kind of airy effects, also transitioning you into the next part of your music or your trailer. And another bang. So sweet. And yet another bang. Oh my God, I love this one here. This is like the heartbeat of a T-Rex. So sweet. Also with transformer sounds here, I will say these ones are more probably trailers than they are like musical, but hear them out. That is sweet, sweet sound design. We also got 3 banks of distortions. There are different lengths, beginning here with the long ones. I mean, the Hounds from Hell, we don't need anything. This is a massive score on its own. Medium distortions. So you can play them as drum kits. I often like to do that combined with normal kits. If you really want that super fat sound, you just stuff these guys underneath. And sometimes we just need long crescendos, making my life easy here, 1 key. Nasty. We also got short crescendos. Let's kick it off here with the arpeggiators. This is the Arp boomer. Let me just turn on the Arp here. We just need like a choir going like, whoa, whoa, like. With this library, you don't need that many other elements. It's truly a scoring instrument. So this is one of the more wild programs. We're taking 2 different parts and morphing them together while running them through the arpeggiator. You'll notice that it changes every time I click on different keys here. Every single key has a unique sample on it. And we can change the arpeggiator real easy. Let's just do something completely random here. Cool, kind of like an alarm almost. And we're morphing in real time, so I'm modulating the different morph here. You'll notice here on the morph slider, as I move the mod wheel here, everything is morphing together. And filtering and all the other stuff. You'll notice that we have categories called clean sounds that are super clean. But in this example here, I'm using rhythms and distorted sounds, morphing them together, running them through the arpeggiator, and unique samples per key. So that's why we can create so many unique rhythms. That's some brutal German techno right there. High rhythms. And you'll notice that every single key have different rhythms on them. Within what we call the mapped range down here, map means that there's individual samples on every key. And the extended range is going to be one sound that's stretched down, so it's more sort of together. I mean, this one is so cool. For like underscoring and even the beginning of an epic composition, I wouldn't use more than this. It's already telling a story. A badass story. Let me try a few more keys here. And again, I mean, I call myself a decomposer, and rightfully so. I'm just using one freaking finger. And we can combine the keys too. Way back in the 80s, there were some synthesizers called wave sequencers, and they had this sort of kind of sound. And I try to do that here by morphing two different parts and create like wave sequencing. Hardcore sounds in their own right. And if you want to create your own wave sequence, it's as easy as this. I open step here. Click some random keys, click play. By the way, with all the different arpeggiations and most of the patches, we have unique arpeggiations. So if you ever want an idea about what we intended with the patch, just click play here on the Arp. And for the majority of these patches here, you'll notice that when I move the mod wheel down, we go down an octave, and when I move it up, we go up an octave for most of the patches. This is sort of hybrid stuff, so you can freely move around. Let's get into SoundLabs. SoundLabs is where we take all the different parts. If you notice here, we have all these guys here, and then we play with them and have fun and try to be a little more creative. We're in SoundLabs where we can be free and really explore different kind of concepts. And this is just using a single note stretch coming from our boomer gritty here, F4. Let me just play the core patch in itself. And one note stretch, this guy as well. It helps when you have distortion, and I'll bet you it's on here. Yeah, just a little bit here, a water pistol. Without it? It can make a big difference here. Let me just remove the filter. Super sweet sound here, but in this particular case, this distortion algorithm here just makes it into something much, much sweeter. Here are some boomer gates. And the gate effect is truly a great instrument in itself for creating rhythms out of something that's inherently not rhythmic. If you listen to the boomer itself, it's cool, but when I throw the gate on it here, the attack down here in the gate is also cool if you want a little more soft, sort of feathery brush on it, instead of like the clicky. Creates a little bit of a fade on each attack. Here's a boomerang. I sort of had the idea of taking a sound and impact that was first hitting and then reversing the sound on another part here, which is symbolized by this icon here in sound mode, the reverse icon. So it's an impact and then it's coming back at us, sounding like this. So sweet. Yeah. Here's another wild experiment using impact cleans 1 and 2 different mega horns together. One of them using 1 note stretch and one of them here playing all the individual notes here. I mean, okay. I kind of just want to go 1 note stretch on all of these guys here. There's an 80s theme for you. To me, this is a score. That reversed one? It's coming home. In a very nice way. This one is so cool. I'm morphing between different rhythmic components here in the 2 parts. Here again is a rising counter motion using a riser and then reversing that riser here on the second part just to see what happens. I love the way that the 2 sounds are like twirling inside of each other. So cool. This is what SoundLabs is about. It's really just by experimenting, being crazy. So here we are. This is the finale. This was Hybrid Tools Foundations. We have many, many different hybrid instruments, but this one for me comes near and dear to my heart and something I keep coming back to. There are just some classical, timeless sounds in here. Thank you so much for watching.